What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to look at the S&P 500 SPY, and I will show you probably what's going to happen next week, October 11. We have earnings coming up, and last week I did a video about SPY, and I said that SPY might go higher into last week, and it did exactly what I said. It went into this area of 440, and then it got rejected. And then by the end of the week, it actually closed around 437, right? So in my opinion, right now, everyone talking about the market crash and everything, but I think the market is not going to crash at the moment right now. We have a trend line here, pretty strong. However, for the past 2 weeks, the market has been kind of broke the trend line and test this area right here at 428, 427. Now, the scenario is going to be, I think next week, we're going to push up backward back into maybe 445. And that's going to be my target for next week. Let's see what happens next week, but I think potentially we're going to go up all the way there, and probably we're going to go sideways for a few more days of trading before we actually break out higher. Now, this setup is not going to work if SPY broke down below 435. If SPY coming down below 435, which is this area right here, then we had a problem. We might crack below, and we might come down into all the way to this area, which is going to be around 420 area. Okay, that's going to be the second scenario. So always be prepared for 2 scenarios. If the market pushing higher, that is a level of resistance to be tested. Now, if the market pushing lower, then we might crack this support, and we're going to head into the next zone of support, which is going to be around 420 area. I don't think we're going to crash down all the way here yet. We might for the next, I don't know, maybe a couple months, who knows. But that's going to be a critical week. It's going to be a really important week to see where the market heading next throughout the end of the year. In my opinion, I still believe this market is still going to go higher. I think the market might go up to all-time high again, and then kind of testing this channel right here. And you know, this is the channel. It's been trading around this channel. So I think we might test all the way up there into, like, if you extend it out, maybe into 490 area, 500 by the end of this year. All right, so, but again, I could be wrong as well. So nobody knows what's going to happen. We're going to, hope for the best, be prepared for the worst, and expect a surprise. That's my mojo. Now, for next week, I'm going to focus mainly on a few stocks that I'm going to be trading, particularly in, Chinese stock. I really like it. Really like the setup here. BAVA, I would do a small segment about BAVA. So BAVA on the weekly chart, this is the first time that we see a really big volume coming in on the weekly chart, and the price closed right at the 160 area. Now, for the short term, for next week, I believe BAVA potentially can push back up into this area right here, into 175 area. That's my target for next week. Trading for BAVA. If it's higher, if this momentum continue, it might go test this area here, which is going to be 180, 190. But that's too much of optimism. I mean, BAVA still has some problems around there. It's still a Chinese stock, so there's always sentiment against BAVA in terms of like Chinese stocks. All right, second stock I'm going to look at is going to be BIDu, which is going to be here. The setup is very similar to BAVA, but this one is more aggressive. I'm looking to hit 170 next week. And you probably ask me why you aim for only a few points, because I'm an option trader. A few point move up or down, it's gonna make me enough money for the week, you know, if I size up. So I'm gonna be like day trading these next week. Potentially, I think it's gonna push up to 170 or more for BIDu. The last one I'm gonna focus on is gonna be PDD. The sticker is P as in Peter, D as in dog, D as in dog, PDD. Same kind of setup. I can see this ramming back up into at least 105 area. You see a lot of buyers stepping in for the past 4 sessions right here. So now you also see a inverse head and shoulder right here. So at least I think it can go here, at least this area in terms of price target short term. Now, I'm going to do a special segment about long-term investing here. I think BABA and BIDu are very attractive at this level. I think they have a lot of upside potential in the future. Once that these, you know, like Chinese rumors and Chinese fear goes away, these companies going to be doing really well. So definitely BABA and BIDu are going to be the one that I'm going to buy into my IRA and also my retirement account. Now, if you take a look at BABA fundamental, look at Alibaba revenue is increasing every year. Look at how much it increases. It's very consistent. Quarterly, it's still uptrend, and growth is a little bit stalled out, but it's still growing. It's still growing a lot. So I think BABA is still at this price, in my opinion. Look at it. It was like back in 2014, revenue was only 10 billion, and now, you know, 7 years later, 119 billion. That's almost 10 times more than what it was in back 2014. That's a lot. Now let's take a look at BIDu revenue. It's very similar. It's doing really well. Let's say 2010 was like 1 billion. Right now it's 17, 18 billion. So these are growing stocks substantially. Look at the BIDu revenue for 12 months. That was 25% increase. Was like 31 increase year over year. And look at these. And then the last one I want to look at is PDD. Look at the revenues, profit. Look at this. Crazy. For the last year over year, 100% increase in revenue, right? Year over year. And you know, for the, you see substantially here, right? So that's very impressive in my opinion. These are like buying right here. Back in 2018, 1 billion. Right now is 13 billion revenue. That's insane, guys. That's pretty crazy. The growth sometimes a little bit stalling out because of, you know, momentum wise, but still growing. This 3 companies definitely want to add into your long-term portfolio. If you are a long-term investor, you don't care about the noise. You know, eventually it's going to pay off. Look at BABA. Right now, you have a massive drop from the top around October last year to now. All the way here is what, 60% drop, guys. This price was way back in 2018. So the stock hasn't gone anywhere since 2018. Obviously now it's downtrend, but let's see if it's going to reverse here. I think for the upcoming remaining of the year, BABA might go back to $200. Not, you know, guessing at all. I can see that. When the sentiment returns in Chinese stock, people are going to buy it and you know, scoop it up. Also, if you look at the news, Charlie Munger, this guy is the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. He just bought a lot of it. He just bought a crap load of it. He bought almost 300,000 shares of it. And if you do the math, I think his average was around 200 something. So let's do the math. You know, let's see, 302,000 multiply. That's $200. $60 million invested in BABA. So yeah, I definitely think that you have a still here in this kind of stock. Of course, there's always a risk, but this is like a major area here, guys. This is like huge major support here around $130, $140. That's why stock zoom up hard last week. I think it's more upside coming. Now that's pretty much it. The stock I'm watching for this week, and really hope that people take advantage of this, adding them into your long-term portfolio. If you're a long-term investor, then you don't care about the noise. You want to buy when a lot of people are fearful, right? Remember COVID? Everybody was afraid. For example, Apple. Everyone was so scared of COVID, right? Here, Apple dropped in COVID, right here. This is a COVID drop. There you go. Let me see how much it dropped. Range. It dropped from the top to the bottom, almost 36%, right? 35, 36%. Nobody want to buy it. Guess what? Guess what happened right now? If you buy from here, was around 53. Right now is 154. You're almost 300% return, right? So it's just a year. So buy it. I think BABA is a buy right now. Of course, I'm not going to recommend. I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not going to recommend you come out and just all in. You always have a risk. Nobody knows the future, but that's what I see in the short run. All right. Anyway, quick video just to show my thought about it, and a couple more stuff I'm looking at next week. Probably coin. Coinbase also setting up for an extra move up, in my opinion, for next week. The crypto now is getting harder. Bitcoin is getting hard now, so I think it's maybe gonna back test this area around 245 and go higher. Coinbase. Another stock people want to ask me is mRNA. What do I think about mRNA? Well, I think this is oversold short term. So, I have a lot of bad news about catalysts, like people that withdraw vaccine from certain country in Europe. But in my opinion, it's a little bit oversold. So technically, you have some kind of support around this area right here, around 285, between 285 and 275. I definitely want to go long when it comes down to this area. I think it's going to bounce. It's going to bounce hard. I think what it's going to do is going to be like this. It might be wrong, but let's see. It might do this. It might come down, test an area, and then just zoom back up into like $300 or $310. This is a very volatile stock. The trend now is downtrend already, but I think it's going to at least make a little rebound before it's give up more gains. All right, anyway, have a nice day. I wish you guys have a good trade week. Let's make money and help me subscribe this channel, grow my small channel. Have a nice week of trading, guys. Until next time.